This is a sports catastrophe production.
The following sports catastrophe deals with a giant death and a picture that shows an accident scene. In no way am I glorifying this at all, as it's just a visual thing that happens. You're free to just play it in the background with my voice and all that, and not have to deal with the graphic. That's fine by me, but just want to explain that the picture is worth 1,000 words and all that. So anyway, it is a somber sports catastrophe, of course, because this is the anniversary of Kobe Bryant's death in 2020, just 3 years ago, a year before I started doing a sports catastrophe. So anyway, it is January the 26th. Kobe Bryant was flying with his 13-year-old daughter Gianna, 6 family friends, and the pilot on a plane on a helicopter at 9 a.m. Pacific time or 12 o'clock Eastern time from John Wayne Airport in Orange County. They were headed to Ventura County for a basketball game in Thousand Oaks. However, a lot of helicopters and air traffic were grounded because of light rain and fog. And the helicopters circled above the LAC because of heavy air traffic in that area. However, the pilot contacted the Burbank Airport's control tower at 12:30. Now, note I'm going to try to do this in Eastern time because it makes it easier for me to realize. So anyway, contacted the control tower, notifying the tower of the situation, and was told that he was flying too low to be tracked by radar. They had extreme fog and turned south towards the mountains, and the helicopter would climb rapidly from 1,200 to 2,000 feet. However, at 9:45 a.m. Pacific or 12:45 Eastern time, the helicopter crashed into the side of the mountain in Calabasas, 30 miles northwest of Los Angeles, and was burning. Everyone was killed on impact and all that. It was just like humongous and all that. The crash was just huge and all that. So anyway, the weather conditions just made things a bit harsh and all that. So anyway, it was just, shocking what would happen and all that. You know, basketball fans were just shocked and all that. I mean, it was just brutal. I can't remember the official timing of when I learned about this. I think it was like 2:30 Eastern or something, 3:30, 3 o'clock Eastern that I watched it, and then I think it was a Facebook post. Someone said about Kobe Bryant's death, and I'm like, no, that can't be right. It's Kobe Bryant. Lo and behold, they said he died in a helicopter crash. I turned on the TV, and it was there. It was like, oh my god, you can't believe it. Now here's the thing: the day before this accident was when LeBron James beat Kobe Bryant in the career scoring list and all that. And I kind of had a hatred because it's like fucking. Does LeBron deserve to be better than Kobe Bryant on the points list? No, I don't think so. And then the next day, poof, the guy that LeBron passes on the scoring list dies. It's like, what the frig? It's just painful and all that. Lots of people were mad and all that. So anyway, the NBA still played their games and all that. It was hard to fathom. They could have postponed it and all that. I know for a fact that, it's like, well, they didn't have advance notice. Well, there were some games late in the night that could have been postponed for time being and all that. I know that the Raptors and Spurs were playing. I think it was a 4 o'clock Eastern game in San Antonio, and they, like most teams, would take intentional on-court violations, referring to uniform numbers, either the 24-second shot clock violation or the 8-second mid-court violation. It was just horrible. And LeBron even spoke to Kobe on the morning of the accident. It was just like huge and all that. And several NBA players decided to change from 8 or 24 to honor Kobe. Lakers and Clippers game was obviously postponed. And then, of course, COVID ruined that thing. It was supposed to be made up on April 9th, my birthday, but it was postponed because of COVID-19. It was just shocking and all that. Anyway, the Clippers played played Sacramento in their first home game afterwards, and they did the unprecedented step to uncover Kobe's 8 and 24 retired numbers because the Clippers and Lakers share Staples Center, or what's called Crypto Arena now, but I still call it the Staples Center. But the Clippers usually hit the Lakers stuff when they hosted games, but they didn't want to do that. Anyway, the Lakers would play Portland, and it was just hard to believe. That Lakers Portland game was the second most watched game in ESPN history with 4.4 million viewers. And then February 15th, Adam Silver said the NBA All-Star Game MVP award will be called the Kobe Bryant MVP. All that. In the All-Star Game, each team on Team Giannis, wore 24 for Kobe, and Team LeBron wore 2 for Gianna. It was just huge and all that. It was just huge. Like, lots of teams were just battled and all that. News of Bryant's death broke before kickoff of the 2020 Pro Bowl, which was the first major event after Kobe's death. It was just shocking and all that. A moment of silence was held. ABC and ESPN broke away from coverage of the Pro Bowl to cover this crash and all that. So anyway, WWE actually paid tribute to Bryant during its Royal Rumble later that night, the 2020 Royal Rumble. AC Milan, who was Kobe's favorite soccer team growing up in Italy, wore black armbands in their Coppa Italia match against Torino. NASCAR did the Auto Club 400 and made its stuff and all that. Anyway. So, yeah, a lot of people had it and all that. And yes, the Canadian documentary series Mayday actually talked about the accident. I did not know that. So anyway, now there were massive investigations. Kobe's identity was officially confirmed a couple days after he died. The following day, the official cause for him and the others were blunt force trauma. There was investigations to the crash. It was hard because it was not equipped with a black box. And the NTSB said that he was disoriented after flying into thick clouds. And the board members also said that he ignored his training and violated federal regulations during the 40-minute flight. So basically, the pilot was getting a lot of blame and all that. So it was just like humongous and all that. So yeah. So yeah, the Spurs Raptors were the first NBA game after Kobe's death. Oh, okay. was one of them. Anyway, the Grammy Awards, ironically, were at the Staples Center the day of the crash, and they went forward with it. But lots of artists made tribute and all that. Anyway, it was just shocking and all that. So anyway, the Lakers would win the NBA title in 2020 after all the COVID crap and after Kobe's death. It was fitting that the Lakers won the title and all that. Of course, there were a lot of questions of what happened. Vanessa Bryant, Kobe's widow, won a couple of big settlements and all that. And it's hard to imagine how such a legendary basketball player like Kobe could die before he even reached 50. It's always sad when someone dies before 50 years old in the sporting world and all that, especially those hockey players in Humboldt. A moment that just shook me to my core. I mean, the Boston Marathon bombings shook me to my core. Lots didn't shake me to my core. But Kobe's death was just humongous and all that. And it hurt. But of course, 2020, this wasn't the last time 2020 would get on my nerves, on my emotional nerves. As well, not only did COVID happen and slow down everyone's progress, but 2020 also marked a dark time, February 29th. And yes, that is actually true because 2020 was a leap year. February 29th marked a dark day for me because my dad died of pneumonia caused by heart failure. There are other reasons, but that could have contributed, but that's just the main reason, and that's what I'm sticking to, pneumonia and all that. And 2020 was just not easy for me and all that, but I made it through. That's all I'm saying. Anyway, I'm Jeff Diamond. Adieu.